And welcome back to Millard South Media. My name's Jonathan Spieler, joined by Mason, and we have a great game.
Steinhoff.
Mason Steinhoff.
Thank you, Jonathan.
I was blanking on the last name here. We have a great game. We have Scottsbluff going up against Norris. Going to be a good one. Mason, let's start off with you. Thoughts going into the game?
Yeah, well, Scottsbluff just yesterday, they beat Roncalli Catholic to get into this game. And then on the other side, Norris, they beat Bennington in a thrilling overtime matchup. But looking at Norris more in depth, they got Chris Garner Jr. He's got to come up clutch for them today. He leads the team in categories like field goal percentage, rebounds per game, blocks per game, and total points. And then for Scottsbluff, you have players like Nate Kelly and Keon Delgado, who really are just monsters when you look at them on paper. So just two really solid players on that basketball squad, and I think we have another very good basketball game on our hands, Jonathan.
I could agree with you. We just came off a great one, and we're hoping to have another great one here. Looks like the teams are taking the court right now. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left till the game, and we'll catch you then. And we are back here to start the first quarter. We are going to start with the starting lineups for both teams. And starting off for Scottsbluff, number 1, Riley Meininger. Number 5, Nate Kelly. Number 15, Carter Reisig. Number 21, Lyndon Amundsen. And lastly, number 40, Max Howell. And we are going to get in to the starting lineup for Norris. Number 4, Barrett Bosiger. Number 5, Alex Small. Number 10, Chris Garner Jr. Number 22, Evan Greenfield. And lastly, number 23, Jarrett Behrens. And that's going to be the starting lineups for both teams. We are going to get underway here, going to have a great matchup. And the players are going to go to the center and shake hands. We are going to get underway with the game.
Both teams shaking their hands at the beautiful Huskers logo in the middle of the court right now.
Of course. Gonna be a good one. Teams getting their first huddle in. And looks like Norris is going to be taking the court here. We're gonna have number 10, Garner, tipping off for Norris. And looks to be number 15, Reisig, tipping off for Scottsbluff. And we are underway, ladies and gentlemen. And looks like Scottsbluff is going to win that tip-off. And looks like number 1, Meininger, taking it up the court, passes it, power up, and that's going to be a missed shot by number 15, Reisig. Number 5, Small, taking it down the court, and that's going to be a pass and a foul for number 10, Garner. Great overhead there, pass there, and this is going to put Norris up early, up 2 with a chance to go up 3.
Very pleasant way to start the game if you're Norris.
And Garner hits the iron and goes in. Meininger. And he's going to lose it, and looks like that's going to be Norris's ball. Behrens inbounding. Then Small. Small passes it to Bosiger. Back to Small. Back to Bosiger, sets it up, tries to get past the defender. Pump fakes, up. And that's gonna hit the iron and go out. Looks like Norris is gonna get the rebound. Passes it to Behrens, and that's gonna be a missed shot. Off the backboard. Scottsbluff taking it up. Kelly with it. Tries to put Small back in school. Drives in. Rice. Back to Ghana. And that's going to be in and out there. And looks like Norris will get a hold of that one. And that's going to be a travel there on Garner.
It's always a little mistakes like those travels that later come back to bite you.
Yep, this is going to be Scottsbluff's ball. Meininger passes it. Kelly at the top of the key. Back to Riesig. And that's going to be intercepted there by number 22, Greenfield. He's going down with it and tries to get in the lane here. Pump fake, passes it back out to number 4, Boziger. Boziger up and fouled. And that was a good drive attempt there. Norris coming out early, working the paint. And Boziger is going to shoot for 2.
The Scottsbluff had a really questionable pass on that last possession.
Boziger up and in for the first one. With the second. And that's going to be a swoosh for the second one. Meininger coming in. Greenfield going up. Passes it back out. And looks like that was shot by number 21, Ghana. Kelly trying to take it into the paint. Pump fakes, misses the shot, gets his own rebound, pump fakes again, and that's going to go in. Kelly with 2. Norris up 7-0. Looks like
Scottsbluff have yet to get on the scoreboard. They got to make something happen here.
And that was small for the bucket. That'll be and that's going to be Boziger.
A hard foul.
And we're going to have some check-ins here for Scottsbluff. And looks like Norris will be inbounding. Kelly trying to pass it in, lobs it over. Back to Sabala. And that's going to be in and out, shot by Schmal. And they're going to get their own rebound, and that's going to be number 22 for Norris.
And Norris really doing everything their coaches are asking from them right now. Scottsbluff has got to find a way to answer.
And this is going to be Scottsbluff misses. That's going to be Kelly. And they're going to get their own rebound. That's going to be out on Norris. Looks like that was Greenfield that couldn't get the hold of the ball, and Norris is going to have subs in. Looks like Folkerts and Bornschlegel. And that's going to be passed out to the top of the court. Number 5, Small. Pass it in, number 2, Folkerts, and that's going to be in and out of the iron. And that's going to be rebounded. And that's going to be in and out. Number 2, Folkerts passes it. And Norris has possession. That's going to be a shot in and out there.
So both teams
by Greenfield.
Going on a little run of putting up three-point shots, but they can't get them to fall.
Kelly putting the moves on Bornschlegel. Passes it to Schmal. Schmal with a pup.
Ooh, a nice Euro step there, too.
Looks like that was Boswell, excuse me.
Very clean way, finish into the basket.
Full courts, pass it to Bornschlegel. Back to Boziger. Boziger up, and that's going to be a foul. And it looks like there's going to be more subs in there for Norris and Scottsbluff. And looks like this is going to be Scottsbluff ball. Sabala taking up the court, putting the moves on Fulkerts. Fulkerts guarded by, excuse me, this is going to be Swisher. Then to Embustion. And that's going to be Norris's ball.
Scottsbluff, they're being kind of careless with the basketball right now compared to Norris. Norris is playing team basketball right now.
Norris taking up the court. Looks like Small is going to be taking up the court. Goes to the top of the three-point line. Passes it to Greenfield. Garner drives in. Hornschlegel passes it out. And that's going to be a 3 for Greenfield.
And what else would you expect there? Scottsbluff just left him wide open from the corner.
And that's going to be a steal for Greenfield. He goes down, and that's going to be an easy layup. And another 2 points for Norris, putting them up 10, 2 minutes and 26 left in the first quarter.
And man, Scottsbluff has got to figure themselves out here. They're just, nothing is going right for them.
And we're going to take a quick break and be right back. And we are back here, Norris up 10.
Scottsbluff needs something to go their way right now, down 10 points early on.
Number 1 passes it to Hampston. And that's going to be just off the rim.
Scottsbluff.
Meininger.
Scottsbluff draws the foul there, so they'll go to the line to shoot the free throws.
Delgado at the free throw line.
And like I said a lot last game, you know, if you want to get back into matchups, you gotta capitalize at the free throw line.
This is the first one. Second one up, and that's going to be just off the iron and out. And looks like Emmett's rebound there by Greenfield. And there's going to be a lot of rebounds there, and that's going to finally go in for number 10, Schmal.
So chance after chance after chance. Scottsbluff, plenty of chances to get that defensive rebound. I couldn't do just that.
And that's going to be out. Looks like that was just a clumsy pass by Kelly for Scottsbluff. And Small passing it in for Norris. Hornschlegel. Small taking it up the court. Passes it to Behrens. Back to Hazenmeyer. Hazenmeyer up, off the iron, tries to get its own rebound, and that's going to be over the back foul. And looks like there will be subs in for Norris. Kelly taking it up the court for Scottsbluff. Kelly trying to put the moves on. Gets around his defender. Passes it back to Reset. Reset drives in. Passes it back to Kelly. Kelly with the layup, and that'll be in.
A very beautiful pass there to the middle where the lane was wide open.
Driving up fast, trying to put the pressure on. Fulkerts passes it right back out, and that's going to be a steal by number 1. And looks like he was out there, but they did not see that. Going to be a block there and back up. And look, Greenfield gets a hold of it, and that's going to be Norris's ball. And a missed three there.
Scottsbluff to inbound.
Meininger inbounding for Scottsbluff. Kelly at the top of the key. Kelly drives in, step back, three, and in. Good shot there by Kelly. Small taking it up the court for Norris. Norris trying to get something going here. Shot there by Boziger. And that's going to be off the iron and out. Looks like that's going to be 2 points for Boisiger. And first shot is in for Boisiger. Second shot is in. 18-9. Norris up by 9. Third shot up and in. Spencer inbounding for Scottsbluff. Looks like that Kelly long shot. And that's going to be an air ball. And Norris will be up 10 going into the second quarter. A strong start here by Norris. Scottsbluff needs to find an answer in the second half. And we'll be back for the second quarter. Back. Kelly passing it in to Meininger. Guarded by Greenfield. Greenfield on Meininger. Amston back to Kelly. Kelly trying to find an open man. Drives in. And that's going to be a foul on number 5, Alex Small. And looks like there's going to be number 2, Fulkert's back in for Norris. Small subbing out. Amston passes it into Kelly. And that'll be an offensive foul on number 5 for Norris. Small. Fulkerts. Past the timeline. Guarded by Kelly. Fulkerts goes around to the right wing. Tries a pass. Pass it to Boziger. Then Behrens. Then Fulkerts. Back to Greenfield. Greenfield drives up. Hits the iron, goes out. Another one. And that's going to be a rebound by Scottsbluff. Kelly gets it. That was rebounded by number 24, Delgado. Meininger with the shot. In and out. Rebound there, and that's going to be a foul. Riesig will shoot 2.
So Scottsbluff playing with a little more energy than what we were seeing in that first quarter.
Amstem. Back to Diago. Delgado. Full courts, passes it in, and that's going to be a shot by Behrens.
Way too easy for Norris there.
Meininger goes up the court. Kelly with the ball. Looks for a pass, drives in, puts the moves on, pump fake, and up and in for Kelly.
If you're Scottsbluff, you want to see more of that for the rest of the game, because they were
Full
lacking
courts.
of it in the first quarter.
Comes up Garniger. Back to Behrens. Back to Boziger. Full courts. On the right side wing of the three-point line, drives in, passes it to Greenfield. Greenfield drives in, passes it back. And that's going to be Garniger. Pass it back to full courts. Then Greenfield. And that'll be a pass and a foul in the lane. Garner.
So a lot of stoppages in this matchup right now. A lot of fouls from both squads.
Kelly taking it up the court for Scottsbluff. Drives in, pump fakes, and blocked by Bornschlegel. Kelly at the line, shooting 2. Up and in. Couple subs here for Scottsbluff. Howell back in, number 40. Boswell, number 11 for Scottsbluff. And rebounded by Garner. Greenfield drives up the court. Stops, passes it back to Garner. Fulkerts at the top of the wing. Passes to Bornschlegel. Then Boziger. Back to Garner, and that's going to be in and out. And in for number 22, Greenfield. Meininger drives in. Off the backboard and in.
Very nice move from him.
Full courts. Going for Norris. Greenfield at the top of the paint. Drives in. Gets stopped. And that's blocked there.
And a monster block, but they're going to call that a foul.
By what looks like number 24, Delgado. Garner at the line for Norris. First one's up and in. Small back in for the Titans. Second one, up and in. Boswell. In for Scottsbluff. Dribbling it up the court, past the timeline, passes it to Kelly. Kelly puts on the moves. Tries to get past Bornschlegel. Hits a wall. And that's going to be in for number 11, Boswell, for Scottsbluff. Scottsbluff coming back strong. And a three-point attempt. In and out. That's going to be Boziger. Riesig.
Scottsbluff is putting it all together right now. They're easing closer. So Norris with the basketball at the wing. Trying to drive inside. Scottsbluff creating a wall right now. And Norris gets a nice layup to far right end. Scottsbluff looking for a response. Like I said, they've been easing closer. Now it's just about stopping Norris on defense. So Norris with a missed three, Scottsbluff, excuse me, not Norris, driving across midcourt. And Norris will draw a foul. A lot of fouls been called, a lot of stoppages in this first half.
Boys are at the line for Norris. Up and in.
Norris trying to extend this lead back to 10 points.
Boisiger, second one, off the iron and out. Looks like that's going to be rebounded by Kelly. Kelly pushes it up the court, past the timeline. Puts on the moves, tries to drive in. Passes it back out to Schmal. Schmal misses. Rebound by Norris. Boisiger dribbles it up the court for Norris, passes it to Greenfield. Greenfield back to full court. Bornschlegel drives in, up and blocked. And that was blocked by number 11, Boswell.
Scottsbluff with a nice defensive effort there. Contested the shot, or a little too aggressive as a foul was called on them.
Number 0 for Norris, Josh Bornschlegel.
Misses the first.
Sub in for Scottsbluff. Number 15, Reisig back in. Boisiger misses the second one off the back of the iron. Kelly dribbling it up the court. Past the timeline, and that's going to be a pop three. Missed off the iron and out.
Both teams
Garner
trying to go
pushing
fast.
tempo. And that's going to go in.
Shooter's touch right there is rolling right in to the cup.
Garner with the rebound.
Both teams playing with a lot of energy right now. For Scottsbluff, it's just about better shot selection. It's also about playing complementary basketball.
Garner shooting 2. Up and in for the first. Garner switches the second one.
Norris extending their lead by a fairly large margin.
Kelly going up the court, passes to the timeline. Kelly putting the moves on Bornschlegel. Ghana, back to Kelly. Kelly at the three-point line, drives in. Bornschlegel stops it. And looks like Boswell tried to drive in there, and that's going to be a foul. Kelly drives in. Missed layup and fouled. Kelly will go to the line. Kelly up and in for the first. Subs in for both Norris and Scottsbluff. Kelly with the second, up and in.
Number 1, Riley Meininger, in for Scottsbluff.
Meininger. Folkerts taking it up the court for Norris. Followed by Garner. Folkerts passes. Behrens. Back to Garner. Behrens at the top. Passes it back out. And missed three there by Bornschlegel. Garner tries to get a hold of it. Looks like Boziger, back to Boziger. Garner. Folkerts. Bornschlegel goes in, drives. Dumps it off to Behrens, and that's going to be 2 and a foul.
Norris just really dominating the battle of the paint right now. Scottsbluff really struggling to get these defensive rebounds, giving Norris all the chances in the world.
Behrens made it. Meininger at the top of the paint. Tries to put the moves on. Spin move. Hits the front of the iron. Gets his own rebound. Shot up. And Swisher misses. And that's going to be passed down. And Garner.
Transition defense has really been a struggle for Scottsbluff today. They're struggling to get back in transition, and it's leading to really easy buckets for Norris.
Meininger back for Scottsbluff. Passes it to Rice. Rice gives it up. And there's going to be a timeout called. And we'll be right back.
Hey, I'm not complaining.
Meininger inbounds. Pass to Evanston. Back to Meininger. Number 1 drives in. Up. And hits the iron and goes out.
16-point lead for Norris as Scottsbluff looks to narrow that margin at the free throw line.
Number 1 Riley at the 3-point line. Free throw line.
A player who's only a sophomore. A lot of bright years ahead for that young fella.
Up and in for the first one. .9 seconds left. Norris has the lead, 37-22. Meininger will get subbed out there. Sabala in for Meininger. Folkert's taking it up the court for Norris. Looks like he's going to go up fast to the top of the key. Passes it to Greenfield. Greenfield goes in for the drive and off the glass and in for Greenfield.
I'm really surprised to see Norris go like fast tempo there in the closing seconds of this first half. But
And that'll do it for the first half. Norris up 39-23. Great first half here for Norris. Came out strong and scored points. Mason, what did you see?
yeah, Norris just really was doing everything right. Scottsbluff struggling to find anything going for them. And I think Scottsbluff really struggled with that transition defense. That was a huge problem for them. Norris just capitalizing on all the fast breaks you could think of. Just been really easy for Norris.
And we'll be right back for the second half coming up in just under 12 minutes. And we are back here for the second half of this game. Norris has the ball. Small passes it to Greenfield, back to Small. Small at the three-point line on the right side. Back to Greenfield. Greenfield pump fakes, guarded by Meininger. Passes it to Barams. And that's going to be a shot attempt by Small. Puts it back up, and that was Garner with the two-pointer.
And I think if we talk about the reason of why it was such a brutal first half for Scottsbluff, it points to their pace. They weren't playing at a well enough pace, and they were just putting up bad shots overall.
Kelly guarded by Small at the top of the three-point line. Kelly passes it to Howell. Back to Reisig. Kelly. Pass it to Reisig. Reisig with the three-point attempt. That's up. Hits the iron and off. And looks like that's going to be number 4, Boziger with the rebound. Small takes it up the court for Norris. Passes the timeline. Passes it to Greenfield. Back to Small. Back to Barons. Greenfield with the pump fake. And that's going to be out on Scottsbluff. Norris with the inbound. Small passes it to Barons, and Barons is going to get that three-pointer.
Another example of Scottsbluff making it awfully too easy for Norris.
Garner. Small at the top. Greenfield
Norris
holds it, trying to find a pass. Boisiger. Passes to Greenfield. Greenfield drives in. Guarded by number 1. Shot attempt there for Garner, and Garner's going to put it up and in.
And they played great team offense there. They just took their time and set something up and executed.
Looks like Kelly takes a fall there. Drives in, Meininger passes to number 40, up and in. And that's going to be Howell.
So a nice little response from Scottsbluff as they try to get back into this basketball game.
Small at the top. Boisiger trying to get around the defense. Pass it to Greenfield. Greenfield tries to drive in. Shot attempt. And up and in for Greenfield. Full court press here by Norris. Meininger driving at the court. Passes the timeline. Tries to put the moves on Greenfield. Drives in. Pass attempt. And that'll be out on Scottsbluff. Looks like that pass was to Howell. Just couldn't get his hand on it. And inbound by number 23, Barons. Boisiger taking it up the court for Norris. Boisiger drives pass. Back to Barons. Back to Greenfield. Greenfield drives in. Pump fake, but looks like he traveled on that, and that's going to be Scottsbluff's ball. Emmetston passes it to Meininger.
So after mistakes like that, Scottsbluff has got to find opportunity now.
Kelly passes, shot attempt, and over. Emmetston had the shot attempt there. Garner at the top of the key. Pass it to Small. Small, pump fake, in and out. Kelly back up the court for Scottsbluff. Kelly at the top of the 3. Decides to drive in and out, just off the rim, and that's going to be rebounded. And that will be Norris's ball. Garner inbounding for Norris. Full court's back in for Norris. And Swisher. Full court's driving it up the court for Norris. Guarded by number 1, Meininger. Passes it to Bornschlegel. Back to Greenfield. Back to Fulkerts. Back to Boisiger. then Bornschlegel. Boisiger with the three-point attempt. Off the back of the iron. Greenfield with the rebound. Another shot there by Boisiger, and that's going to be in for Boisiger.
And when you keep leaving Norris wide open, they're eventually going to capitalize.
Kelly with the drive and in. That's going to be on the floor. Subs it in for Scottsbluff.
So at one point, Scottsbluff was easing closer back in that first quarter, but since then, they've been pretty much silent.
Swisher with the inbound. Passes it to Sabala. Sabala back to Boswell. Good drive there. Kelly with the 2-point. Bornschlegel. Pass it in to Boisiger. Boisiger with the shot and just off the iron. Kelly drives down. Tries to put the moves on. Goes for the drive. Passes it back out to Swisher, excuse me. Kelly with his own rebound. That's going to be up and in for another 2 points.
And getting rebounds was something Scottsbluff has struggled with all game long. Like to see that positive takeaway for them there.
Folkerts passes it to Bornschlegel. Bornschlegel with a spin move, and that's going to be another 2 points for Norris. Kelly taking it up the court for Scottsbluff. Kelly drives in and fouled on the way up.
Norris foul 0, Josh Bornschlegel, third personal, second team foul. And Kelly at the line for the Bearcats.
Kelly's first one is in.
Alex Small in for Norris. Checking in for Scottsbluff, number 21, Orlando Tennessee.
2 minutes and 29 seconds left in the third quarter. Kelly with the second one, up and in. Small taking it up the court for Norris. Small passes it to Garner. Garner passes it back to Small. Small back turn to the basket. Back to Greenfield. Greenfield does a circle for the defense. Small passes it back to Garner. Garner tries to get the rebound, and that'll be out. And it will stay with Norris. Small inbounding. Folkerts at the top of the key. And Bornschlegel on the side. Garner, Folkerts, back to Garner, drives in, gets stopped by the defense. Small, rebound by Garner, and Garner's going to put it up back in. Kelly drives down, pushing the tempo. Kelly to the left side of the wing, drives into the paint, passes it back out to Schmal. Back to Sabala. Sabala with the 2-point. And this will be Small taking up the other side of the court for Norris. Small to Greenfield. Greenfield at the top. Passes it to Garner. Garner tries to drive in, gets stopped by the defense. Pass it and intercepted by number 3, Sabala. Sabala turns his back and gives it to Kelly. Kelly drives up past the half-court line. Kelly with a fader and misses it. Garner pushes the tempo up to Forks, and Forks is going to miss that, and Kelly's going to get the rebound and goes all the way back. Kelly pump fake, misses, rebound, and there's going to be a foul on the floor. Excuse me, on the shot, that'll be number 24, Delgado. 4-2 for Scottsbluff. First one in. Subs in for Norris and Scottsbluff.
You can see the hustle from these Scottsbluff players in this match, but it's just about, playing more of a kind of lockdown defense.
Delgado up and in for the second.
And I think you got to give a ton of credit to Norris because I think they're just They're shooting really well. You know, Scottsbluff has tried to keep up on defense.
Just under a minute left in the third. Norris up by 20. Full works. Pass it to Behrens. Behrens at the top of the key. Looking for a pass. Pass it to Boziger. Back to Fullworks. Fullworks standing there, trying to set up the offense. Guarded by Sabala. Fullworks drives in. And that's going to be a rebound. And Norris trying to fight for the rebound, and that's going to be rebounded by Boziger. Pass. Orange Schlegel. And a foul and a travel, on Bornschlegel, so that'll be Scottsbluff's ball. Boswell passing it in. Boswell taking it up the court for Scottsbluff. Guarded by Boisiger. Boswell. Goes to the left-hand side. Back to center. Meininger. Step back three. Off the iron and over the backboard. And that'll be Norris's ball. Behrens inbounding for Norris. A little half-court shot attempt, and that'll be no good. Norris up by 20 going into the fourth quarter. This is a quick game. Norris kind of dominating here, getting all the shots to fall. Scottsbluff struggling here. Any other thoughts, Mason?
Well, you know, Scottsbluff was given, some opportunities. They just couldn't put it all together, I guess you could say. Norris is shooting really well right now. I think for Scottsbluff, they put up a fight. Just hasn't gone the way they wanted it to. That's simply the reality of it all.
Yep, and we'll be, looks like the players are going to be taking the court, so we're going to stay right here for the last quarter of this game.
And real quick, I want to thank Erickson Cedarstrom for providing you 55 years of legal excellence. If you want the best legal work in the city of Omaha, state of Nebraska, or the entire United States, please go over there at Erickson Cedarstrom and please contact Dan Dittman.
Wilson Dittman giving a little shout out to our sponsors. Amundsen inbounding, back to Amundsen. Back to Riesig. Stolen by Greenfield. Greenfield passes it to Garner. And stolen by Swisher. Scottsbluff taking it up the court. Swisher with the ball. Swisher passes it to Kelly. Kelly goes to the left-hand side, then right, back to right. Pass it back out to number 21, and that's going to be Amstrom with the three.
So Scottsbluff still a fight in their veins right now.
Small taking it up the court, just past the half-court line. Back to Greenfield. Greenfield, then Boisiger. Back to Small, then Garner. Garner tries to go in the paint. Fakes it off the iron and out, and that will be Scottsbluff ball. Kelly with the inbound, taking it up the court for Scottsbluff. Guarded by Small. Passes to Riesig. Back to Swisher, then Kelly. Kelly at the top of the key. Kelly trying to find a pass. Goes to the right-hand side. Trying to get past the defender. Over the head pass. And that'll be deflected, and a long pass there to Garner, and he's not going to get there. And that'll stay Scottsbluff's ball. Norris applying full court press here, at least man-to-man full court. Swisher taking it up the court for Scottsbluff. Kelly looks for the step back, misses, pass it to Howell, back to Kelly. Excuse me, Swisher. Swisher back to Howell. Then Riesig. Riesig at the top of the key, drives in. Gets stolen there, and that's going to be Boisiger for Norris with the easy layup. Kelly taking it back up the court for Scottsbluff. At the three-point line, passes it to Swisher. Swisher drives in. Easy layup and just missed it. Looks like that's going to be a shooting foul, so he'll go to shoot 2 at the line.
And a nice lane opened up for him. It's about finishing in the cup, and he couldn't do quite that. When you're down this bad, you have to make those shots.
Swisher at the line for Scottsbluff. First one in, subs in for Norris. Swisher with the second one. 5:41 left on the clock. It's the back of the iron and out. Looks like that's going to be rebounded by Amberston. And a shot there, in and out. And that shot was by Kelly. And another foul on the floor. That will send Riesig to the line.
Scottsbluff really relying on the free throw line to get on the scoreboard in this fourth quarter.
First one in for Riesig. Second one. Back of the iron and out. Garner gets the ball. Pass it to Fullworks. Back to Greenfield. Then to Bornschlegel. Bornschlegel drives in. Can't find a lane. Fullworks. Back to Garner. Back to Bornschlegel. Then to Boinziger. Gets knocked down. And that'll be 2 for a shooting foul.
Scottsbluff foul. Number 21, Landon Edmondson. Third personal foul. First team foul. Shooting 2 is Spieler Mason.
Bozinger. First one up and in. Second one, up and in for Boisiger.
So all game long, Norris has done a really nice job of drawing fouls and capitalizing at the free throw line.
And that's going to be a timeout for both teams. So we're going to take a quick break and be back for the rest of the fourth quarter. 5 minutes left. Norris up 19.
This is Wilson Dittman back in the Millard South Media Studio in Omaha, Nebraska. I just want to inform you guys of the Class A semifinals going on later today. Again, that will be played between Bellevue West and Omaha Central, along with, of course, the late game Miller North vs. West Side. But let's set it back down to Lincoln, Nebraska for Jonathan Spieler and Mason Steinhoff.
And we are back.
Scottsbluff still with hope here. Now they're down 19, but 5 minutes in basketball is a heck of a lot of time. Anything can happen. It's just Scottsbluff has to be the deciding factor.
Sampson inbounds for Scottsbluff. Kelly driving up past the half court line. Kelly trying to find a pass. Passes to Swisher. Swisher passes it back to Amston. Amston with the shot. Just misses off the outside of the iron. And that's going to be Riesig with the bucket. Fullworks. Garner. Then Greenfield. Greenfield at the top of the key, then Garner, then Fulkerts. Fulkerts spin move, and that's going to be a travel. Kelly taking it up the court. Kelly to the left side. Jump fake, just misses. Riesig. Full courts at the top of the key for Norris. Back to Greenfield, back to full courts. Full courts drives in. Pass to Boisiger. Back to Greenfield. Greenfield goes up with it and blocked by Swisher, and that will be a foul on Scottsbluff. Garner will be sent to the line. And we are going to see subs in for Scottsbluff. And I think that's going to be all the starters taking out for Scottsbluff. 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Garner, second one in. Kelly falls, trips up. Back to Boswell. Boswell with the three. Fulkerts going down the court. Passes it to Greenfield. Greenfield comes around to the left side. Then to Garner. Back to Fulkerts. Fulkerts at the top of the key. Drives in. And an easy layup just missed. Howell tries to put that one up. Excuse me, Behrens tries to put that one up. Looks like Fulkerts got the steal. Behrens. Then Boisiger. Back to Fulkerts. Greenfield. Right side of the key. Drives in. Tries to pass to Garner. Doesn't find it. Back out to Garner. He runs around. Fulkerts at the top. Then Behrens. Garner. All the way around to Fulkerts. Right side of the key. Garner at the top. Garner drives in. Gets stopped by the defender. And up and in for an easy jumper there.
So Scottsbluff has not really had many answers on defense all game long. And that's why the scoreboard reads Norris 63, Scottsbluff 45.
Sabala. Meininger, then Sabala for the three-pointer just off the front of the rim. Full courts driving down for Norris. 2 minutes, 20 seconds left. Boisiger drives in and is going to get fouled. Hansmeyer comes in for Norris. Full courts, back to Boisiger. Boisiger with the three-point top shot, missed, rebounded, and put back up by number 22, Greenfield. Meininger comes down the court. Crowd getting loud. Pass it to Boswell. Boswell at the top. Back to Meininger. Drives in, spin move, and up and in for the 2 points. Greenfield drives down, passes it to full courts, and that's going to be a timeout taken. That'll be a full timeout, so we'll be right back with you. 1:46 left in the fourth. And we are back here for the end of this game, 1:46 left. Subs in for Norris. Norris with the ball. .34 for Norris, back to 24. Delgado. Holland for Scottsbluff. Back to Finley. Finley drives in. Shot attempt. Hits the iron and goes out. Rebounded by number 24, Delgado, and looks like Delgado's tripped up. Excuse me, Hansmeyer for Norris is tripped up. Rice taking it up the court for Norris. Passes it to the wing. Back to Finley. Finley, then Colson. Colson passes it. And missed attempt and rebounded by Colson, and that's going to be out on him. Just under a minute left now. Subs in for both teams. Sabala taking up the court for Scottsbluff. Sabala trying to put the moves on, finds a pass. Passes it to number 10, Schmal. Then number 12, Carpenter, top of the wing. Passes it back to Heinman. Drive. Can't find it, and pass is going to be intercepted by number 21, Ghana. And looks like he's going to be able to dribble that out, and Norris will take the win here, 65-47 over Scottsbluff. And make sure to tune in because we are doing Class A next, folks. It's been an honor to call this one, and that will do it.